Hello guys, I'm going to be playing Ambre, a heartbreaking kinetic novel. I already did the recording, but of course my computer died, as you can see down here. Yeah. Hold on, I'll get it to when it's ready. I'm not redoing this. Okay. Okay. It was 7 p.m. on that beautiful day. Sorry guys. I want this to be copyright. It was 7 p.m. on that beautiful day, yet cold. On that beautiful day, yet cold autumn day. I'm sorry, I'll redo that. It was 7 p.m. on that beautiful yet cold autumn day. The wind shook the frail trees' branches across the street. Tristan Mallory made his slow, tired way. A whirlwind of leaves caught his attention, and he stopped to contemplate them for a few minutes. A spray of colors danced around him. Fragments of red, orange, yellow spread at random, forming a mosaic that stretched on for as far as the eye could see. I am sorry. A rush of beauty in that gray and smoggy city, in that noisy metropolis that was constantly exhaling bad air. So I guess this is us. Coming back to the scene, the 30-year-old man shook his head. Now wasn't the time to be daydreaming. He had to go home. What is that? The long day already weighed on his shoulders. Hold on. But if he was completely honest, work wasn't the most tiring thing in his life. After all, an honest, well-paid job was somewhat of a luxury these days. Like any model employee, accomplished the task handed to him. No more, no less. No, what was really destroying him was a completely different form of fatigue. An appalling and crushing solitude had been shattering him for years, ever since his wife died. The light tinkling of the front door opening brought him back to earth. He was already at his flat. Sad and silently room was waiting for him. Goosebumps traveled down his spine as he entered the room. Driven by almost a desperate urge, he didn't even bother hanging up his coat before slamming all doors in his flat, one after the other. Each time the same emptiness answered his pleas. He felt a rising dread within. His last hope, the last door, the forbidden room beyond. He opened it slightly and peeked inside. Of course, there was no one. He fell heavily onto the sofa. This crushing solitude came back in full force, crushing him again and again, wounding his face with invisible cuts of time. It was happening again. All of a sudden, Tristan Mallory felt immensely exhausted. He held his head in his hands, staring at the floor for a long time. Then, after what felt like an eternity, he abruptly got to his feet. He gathered all of the framed pictures and displayed and stowed them away in a closet. The memories needed to be out of sight. When he was sure that there were no more pictures sticking out, Tristan put his coat back on and rushed outside. He said he didn't take it off. Okay. It was chilly and a bit dark, but there was still enough light to see clearly. It was the ideal time to take a walk. At least that's what he once might have thought. As he hurried along the sidewalk, Tristan was anything but relaxed. I am sorry. I'm recording at night, as you can see down here. Incredibly nervous, he walked around the places that were most familiar to him, looking for a sonority that seemed to be definitively out of reach. While passing a park near his home, he suddenly heard a high-pitched, almost inaudible plea. His heart jumped, and he stopped. She's so cute. In the dim light... Ooh, achievement unlocked, the lost little girl. In the dim light of the setting sun, he made out a silhouette of a little girl sitting on a swing with her head bowed. Tears were rolling down her cheeks. Afraid of startling her, he approached her slowly and took a closer look. Her clothes were crumpled. She had neither a coat nor a scarf, and she bore various scratches as if she had been in a fight. The park was completely deserted. She seemed to have been there for a while. For a second, Tristan Mallory felt tempted to abandon her there, to leave her to her fate, but very quickly he mentally chastened himself. He couldn't do that, so he placed himself in front of her and asked in a soft voice, "Is something wrong?" At first, the little girl seemed not to hear him. She choked on her sobs, hiccuped, and shuddered. Patiently, Tristan stroked her hair and repeated, "Why are you crying? What happened?" It took her several minutes to calm down a bit, but eventually she wiped away her tears. Frick. No, if it dies. I swear. No, stop. Please. Technical difficulties. Hold on. It took her several minutes to calm down a bit, but eventually she wiped away her tears and answered with a faint voice, interrupted by sobs. "I don't know. I think I've lost something important. Really important. But I can't remember what it was." Tristan Mallory sighed, feeling a mixture of compassion and pity. She seemed so lost, vulnerable. He wanted to hold her so tightly that her shadows melt away. And at the same time, within him, a voice was telling him that he shouldn't be too forceful, that he shouldn't take advantage of her weaknesses. So he tried to stay composed and look reassuring. Yet in front of the sad little girl, he did not feel confident at all. "Are you alone? Where are your mommy and daddy?" "I don't know." "Do you live far away from here?" "I don't know." "What's your name?" "Ambre." "Well, Ambre, you can't stay out here in the wind. You're going to catch a cold eventually, and you don't want to get sick, do you?" "No, I hate being sick." "See, you've got to go warm yourself up somewhere. It'll be night soon." "But I don't know where to go." "In that case, what do you think about going to my place? It's not far away from here. That'll be a much better place to sleep than the swing." Ambre seemed wary, but she had no other choice but to follow him. He gently reached a hand to her, and for the first time, she lifted her eyes. They were washed out, blurry with tears, and hesitant. He thought it was a good idea to force a smile to appear reassuring. Even with the fatigue, Tristan Mallory showed the most convincing smile he could, took her hand, so fine, so frail, to help her get to her feet. The young girl's steps were wobbly and weak. She had probably not eaten all day long. Carefully, he led her to his place, while making sure she wouldn't trip. The man removed his coat and shut the front door behind them. "Make yourself at home. I'll cook you something." Passing through the kitchen, he turned on the light in the living room so that his flat would look less gloomy. Oh, fudge. Hold on. While searching his fridge for a potential meal, he periodically stole several glances over the counter. In the living room, Ambre was still walking around, a bit wild, still on the defensive. She explored this new environment by looking around, admiring the ornaments. Unfortunately, she didn't find much to pique her interest. It was a bland house, almost too bland. There was no clues about the occupant's life. Taking advantage of Tristan being distracted by a pocket of noodles, she escaped the hallway to try to find the bathroom to relieve her an urgent need. She found it quickly enough, but before returning to the hallway, she noticed all the doors were wide open except for one. Strangely, before she had even time to think about it, she was drawn to that doorway. Intrigued, Ambre felt magnetically attracted to the slightly open door. Just one peek was all she wanted, but she struggled to see anything through the crack. Was this the Bluebeard's cabinet? A frightening tomb where Tristan Mallory stored the corpses of his former wives? The girl pushed open the door and entered the room, switching the light on. A bedroom filled with plush toys and soft cushions. A big bed was proudly displayed in the center of the room, accompanied by a pretty dressing table on one side. The walls were painted to look like a bright blue sky. Storage furniture coordinated with the sweet colors of trinkets were overflowing with mysteries. On the nightstand she could catch a glimpse of a nightlight, shaped as a cute mascot. There was a fairy-like ambience about the strange room, to the extent that Ambre couldn't repress a little exclamation of surprise. Closing the door so that the 30-year-old wouldn't discover her hiding spot, she stretched out onto the colorful bed, rolled into a ball, jumped down, and snuck under the bed sheets. I'm not gonna try. She felt at ease in this room, worthy of a princess. It seemed to have been built for her, to correspond to her every fantasy. She then approached the big teddy bear, which was tempting her. She grabbed it immediately, hugged it, and covered it with kisses. The pale face was illuminated by a wide, pure, innocent smile, a child's smile. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Tristan has finished cooking the noodles and was about to serve the meal when he noticed the absence of the little girl. Slightly alarmed, he called for her. Ambre, are you here? Nervously, he looked for her in all rooms, checking first to see if she was in the bathroom. She searched everywhere in the house until they were only the front door. Makes a lot of noise when it's open, so I wouldn't have heard it if she had left. Could she actually be in there already? Oh, that's cute. With an contrite sigh, he headed towards the fully lit forbidden room and discovered Ambre playing with stuffed animals. This gave sovereign. I suppose that I couldn't do anything, thought to reassure himself. Without a word, he went to sit next to her. On the bed, the little girl was moving the stuffed animal's hand while making them speak in her weak voice. She was narrating a stuffed animal tea party, seemed to be enjoying herself very much. The light was back in her eyes. Suddenly she got mad at a plump cow and scolded her harshly. It's dirty. Stop it right now. You're making a mess. Allie, what did I just say? It's dirty. You've got to behave yourself. And don't roll it on the floor. You shouldn't make a fuss, just because you didn't get what you wanted. Punishment she sent on the cow in the corner while ordering her not to move and replace it with a pony with long eyelashes. The stuffed animal tea party, hosted by the blue monkey, was obviously not going as planned. The 30-year-old man examined the little girl's every move with care. She finally noticed his presence. He felt he had to speak. Are you having fun? Yeah, I didn't know that there was a bedroom like this in your house. Whose room is it? It was my wife's favorite room before she left. What happened?